Welcome back to the newest episode of penpodcast.com. I'm your host, Matthew Harms, founder of Pen for Hire, where we offer premier ghostwriting and author coaching services. Also, the creators of the Pen Podcast, where we sit with writers, writing industry professionals, subject matter experts, and all around interesting people. Today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Armand Rosamilia. How are you this morning, Armand?
I'm doing good. I've just had my second cup of coffee, so I'm almost awake.
That is a good thing. I have actually not had any, and that would explain my brain lag. Shame on me. Where are you joining us from?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, okay. So we are in the same time zone. That's always good. I've had some guests who are in California, and I'm like, if you only had 2 cups of coffee, God bless you at this hour.
Yeah.
Have you always been in Jacksonville?
No, I was born and raised in New Jersey. I came down here in 2001.
Okay.
So I've been down here for 20 of 52 years, whatever the math on that one is.
Do you find Florida is more conducive to writing than New Jersey?
Money-wise, the cost of living down here is so much better. The weather is so much better, and there's times if I still lived in New Jersey, I'd be like, oh, I can't write today because I have to go shovel the driveway, those types of days. And I'm an inside person anyway, so like right now it's 76 degrees. It's nice and sunny out, and it's got a great breeze outside. So I'll open all the windows today until it hits about 80, and so it's great. I mean, the weather is perfect. Not that I hardly ever leave the house, but if I did, it's still nice. Every now and then I'll go somewhere. I'll bring my laptop with me, and I'll sit in a cafe or a Panera Bread, or just even out in the backyard. I'll sit if it drops down into like the mid 60s, and it's really nice and cool. I'll just sit out there and I'll just write for a couple hours.
That's actually one of my favorite things to do. In the only 2 or 3 months we get that luxury here in New York is to go sit in my backyard with either my computer or my notebook and write. But I'm very much like you. I'd rather not be out in public. Just keep me in my office or out in my backyard where I only have to interact with myself.
Yep. That's a good day.
That's a good day. How long have you been writing, Armand?
My first short story was published in 1988. I was a senior in high school, and I went through the 90s with all the zines. So I had a lot of short stories published through the 90s. Early 2000s, I took a break and went and got a couple of divorces under my belt. And then about 12 years ago, I got laid off from a job. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I've been talking about this since I was 12 years old. If I'm going to do it, let me do it. And I got very lucky, 2008, 2009 with Amazon and ebooks and all that. I jumped in at the perfect time, and I've been full-time and able to make a career out of this. I think this will be my 11th year now as a full-time author, able to pay my bills, my portion of the bills, just from my writing. In fact, this last year, I made more selling books than I ever did as a retail manager for 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So I've got questions. Let's start with, what are you writing? What genre are you in?
I started horror. I put out zombie books in 2008, 2009, and there was like 40 or 50 zombie books total on Amazon. Now that's like every day that there was a period where like 50 or 100 dropped every day. So I got in on that. It was like the Wild West when Amazon first started. They were, you just throw a book up and you were selling, 200-300 copies a week without advertising, without doing anything. It was great. So I started doing horror, zombie books, ghost stories, whatever it was, monster books. And I've always been a big fan of crime thrillers, but I never really thought, okay, I could do this. And then 2005, Amazon did a contest called Kindle Scout, where you submit your 50,000 word book or more, but they did not want horror. They wanted thrillers, they wanted romance, they wanted stuff that would sell. And I got an idea for a crime thriller book called Dirty Deeds, and I wrote it, figured, okay, well, give it a shot. I mean, they had like 2,000 submissions every month for this contest, and I ended up getting a contract. Only 200 books were ever published through the Kindle Scout program, and Dirty Deeds was one of them. So that really showed me that, you know what, I stop being a jerk. I can write crime thrillers, and so that Dirty Deeds series is on. I'm writing book 11 now. It'll be a 12-book series, and I also started writing a brand new one, First Coast Thriller series, which is a tie-in to that series. And I did rapid release this year. So January, February, and March, book 1, 2, and 3 came out, and I'm working on book 4 now, which will be out in June 15th. And then there will be 2 more books in that series by the end of this year. I'm going to do a 6-book series, and then next year I'll do another 6-book series, again set in the same world, and probably combining the characters from some of the characters from the 2 series. So I'm looking way ahead. I'm still writing horror stuff, mostly short stories for anthologies, but most of my focus is crime thriller because I'm selling about 10 times the amount of books that I ever did with horror. You know, horror is a very small but rabid fan base. So I know if I put out a horror book tomorrow, I know I can get X number of sales on it immediately. I know that the fans are there, which is great. But with crime thriller, it's a whole new fan base for me because I'm really, really focused on it the last year or so. And that was why I did this rapid release with this new series, the first three out of the 6 books, because I wanted to see how many I can get out there, how many I can sell. And so far it's just done phenomenal. It's won a couple of awards already, a couple of audiobook awards. And so for me, that was kind of the justification, the pat on my back to not step away from the horror community, but step away as far as that was my focus for, 10 years.
Now it sounds like you're putting out a number of books a year. Clearly, how quickly are you writing these?
I write every day. My goal for the year is 400,000 words. So I'm pumping books out. I also I'm in the middle of, or the end of Camp NaNoWriMo. In November, I do NaNoWriMo, and I write. Last November, I think I wrote 80,000 words in the month. So that was like a crazy amount of writing. And so if I write 1,096 words a day, that's 400,000 words. Right now, I'm on pace. And my writing goes from November 1st or October 1st to September 30th of the next year. That's my fiscal writing year, I call it, because it sounds better. I should hit over 500,000 words this year. So I'm kind of planning out, okay, everything I have to write this year. Plus, I do Twitch live 3 days a week, and I write a short story live with people in the chat. And it's literally, I have a title, I have nothing else, and I'm creating the story right there. And it could be for an upcoming anthology. It could be just an idea that I had. Some days I'll literally go in and I look around and I'm like, I don't even have a story title today, and I'll just look at an object in the room. Or last week I had a Waffle House shirt on, so I wrote a story about a couple meeting to trade their kids off in the Waffle House. So it's a great challenge for me to just create literally out of nothing. You literally have, it could be a song title, it could be something I overheard, it could be something my wife said to me, one of my kids said, doesn't matter, and you just start from there. So for me, that's the fun of writing, because, and I'm my board behind me, there's about 14 open projects I have right now. So I don't just write one thing at a time. Like this morning, I got up and I wrote Upside Down, which is the 4th book in this new thriller series. I wrote a chapter of that. But then once you and I are done, I'll jump to Dirty Deeds 11, or I'll jump to a short story, or so there's always things that are open. There's always things I'm working on. And, in my head, I know where the deadlines are. So I'm the kind of person, if you said to me, hey, you have a year from this date to write this story, a year from now, 2 days before, I'm really focused on that story. I really need that push, that deadline. Um, if you say, hey, you got to write a 5,000 word story and I'm giving you a month, well, I'm going to wait 27, 28 days before I even start the thing. And I love that. I love that pressure, that push, that I have to get this thing, has to be done. And I'm usually always a couple of days beforehand. I'll knock it out pretty quick. So for me, that's that's kind of part of the challenge.
So I love that you broke down your word count goal by day. This is one of the biggest conversations I have with my clients who we coach or who are doing a chunk of their own writing on their project, is not to sit down and think you need to write 20 pages a day or anything crazy. If you just do, like you said, 1,096 words is 400,000 words for the year.
Yeah.
Right. So for a short nonfiction book, you could literally write 250 words a day and be done in 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's mentally, it's so much easier breaking it down that way. Because you look and you go, okay, these thriller books have to be 63,000 words. Well, that's a lot of words. But if you look and you go, you know what, I have 2 months to write this thing. And if I write 1,096 words, I'm done in like 50 something days. Like I'm ahead of the curve. I'm done ahead of time. That's a lot better. I have a spreadsheet where I'm constantly adding to it, and I'm highlighting when I'm ahead on my word count for the year. I highlight when I'm below. And so it really keeps me focused. I open that things up every day and I look and I go, where am I on the year? Where am I on these projects? And to look and go, okay, I'm 3 days ahead on this one. I don't have to write on this one today, but this one now I'm way behind, or this is a short story for an anthology that needs to be done in the next 3 days. So I'm gonna write it live on Twitch today. I'm gonna finish this story. And that's really the kick in Twitch for me. I've been doing it for almost a year now. And the fun of that is there's people live in the chat room. So they're watching you write, and as you're going along. So sometimes I'll just say, hey, I need a character. Hey, I need a profession. Hey, I need something. And a dozen people are posting and going, make him a cab driver, make him a dentist, make it whatever. And that's always fun. And then every now and then I'll use somebody's name from the chat. I'll throw into the story. And then there's a lot of funny things. There's another author, Jay Wilburn, who also, he's the one who showed me Twitch. He'll jump in and he wants every character to be named Beyonce. That's his thing. So like, hey, give me a character, give me a name of a dog. He's like, Beyonce. I'm like, besides Beyonce, anybody else got anything?
So now on these Twitch streams, are you actually physically typing?
Yeah. So I'll have my you'll be able to see the page that I'm working on. And then the webcam, I'm in the corner. And so you're seeing the page, which starts with just a title and my name. And as I'm typing, you're basically seeing it live. And then I'll read as I'm typing. I'm drives my wife crazy because I'll be in my office and she's like, what? And I'm like, no, I'm working, and I'm typing out dialogue, because for me, you have to read the dialogue out loud for me to see that if it sounds like actual dialogue, if it's not really stilted and it doesn't make any sense, so for me, Twitch is just kind of, another way to do that. So like when I did NaNoWriMo last November, I wrote that entire book. Every day I was on Twitch live, and I was writing the next part and the next part and the next part. So that really also helped me, because I knew if I didn't jump on, people were sending me messages going, hey, it's 1 o'clock. Where are you? Every day, 1 o'clock, I have to be on Twitch in order to write that story. I also did on Halloween at midnight. Once it became November 1st, I was live on Twitch for about 2 hours. And I did like the first 4,000 words of the book, with a lot of coffee and a lot of Halloween candy And there was about a dozen people on that were also writing that had also started their NaNoWriMo project at that time. So it's a lot of fun. It's a community. You know, you're home all day by yourself, and sometimes you need to talk to other people. Sometimes it's fun. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm live on Twitch and just talking to whoever's in the chat room. Anybody's got, hey, what are you guys doing this weekend? You know, I write a page and then I take a break and I'm like, all right, I'm on the next page. What did everybody have for dinner last night? What are your big plans for this weekend? Or I'll say, hey, I got a book signing coming up Saturday if you're in Jacksonville. And it's fun, and it's not just other authors. It's also a lot of readers. It's a lot of people that are just, you know, they love that day to day what you're doing. So that's kind of fun. I mean, I had a conversation. Somebody brand new jumped into Twitch and was like, "What's that bottle of alcohol behind you?" And I was like, "All right, well, this is Pappy Van Winkle. It's like a $3,000 bottle of bourbon that I bought when I signed a big contract." And well, how's it taste? And it was literally like 25, 30 minutes of us talking about bourbon, and because I collect bourbon, and so that was kind of fun. You know, you just don't know what's going to happen. And for me, it's good. It's good because I get depressed. I'm home a lot by myself. I get I get those days where I don't want to get out of bed. You know, and it's great to be able to just talk to people about random things, and so I think that's a lot of fun.
Now, I know a lot of people who Twitch for video games anyway have really monetized that platform. Are you doing anything like that, or is this?
Yeah, I make some nickels and dimes here and there on it. So yeah, I'm definitely making money on it, and not huge dollars. Like there's people on there that I'll see they have like 49,000 people following them. Some girl is playing a video game, and then you see her boobs in the bottom of the screen. Like there's a ton of those. There's tons of people playing games that are making a ton of money. There's a lot of writers on there, and there's more and more, and we're always trying to find each other. But yeah, I'm making money every month on it.
Okay.
But the good part is I'm making money, and I'm writing these stories. I'm still doing my 1,096 a day. So anytime I look at anything, like I have a Patreon, and I write a chapter of 2 or 3 different books ongoing every month on there, and then some of these short stories. So again, it's the pressure of, okay, I have until this date to write this next chapter of this book. And, you know, I try not to do things that don't help long-term, that don't help the career, that don't help the brand. And I think Patreon helps me. And again, you're nickel and dime, and you're making like $150 a month, but I'm writing books that I'm eventually going to sell. I'm writing short stories for that I'm eventually going to sell. So it all works out. All those little things. When I first started, when I met my wife now, almost 10 years ago, she said, "How much money are you making?" And I said, "Oh, I do really, really good." I had no idea. And I only looked at Amazon. The only thing I looked at was how much am I making on Amazon? I'm like, well, I'm making like $100 to $150 at this point. But then she's like, "Well, don't you have royalties coming in from publishers?" I said, "Yeah, I get that." "Well, don't you do book signings?" "Well, yeah, I do that." "Well, don't you do?" So she made this spreadsheet for me with everything, all the money coming in from all these places. And it's like, oh, well, I made $1.50 from this publisher this quarter, but then I made $550 from this publisher. And then I made, then I just signed this contract. It's $25,000, whatever it is. So once I started adding all those up, all those nickel and dimes, like, oh, I made, $100 off of Twitch, and I made $150 off of Patreon. Like all those come up, and then all those, hey, I'm still selling anthologies. I'm still getting royalties from 5 years ago for $3 and $2 and whatnot. But there's a dozen of those, so I'm still making like $50 just on those. So all those little nickel and dimes all add together, and all of a sudden I look at it, that total on the bottom, I say I had a really good month, even though maybe I didn't hit $1,000 or more on Amazon. I still made several $1,000s everywhere else. So I've learned to look at the big picture of all that. And Amazon is, while it's the main money coming in steady every month, it's not the only money coming in. And um, I'm trying to tune myself to not go, Amazon is the be all end all for me.
Got it. Now, speaking of money and finances and all these different avenues, I think that's one of the biggest questions most authors struggle with is how do you get to a point where you can live solely off of your author income? So what are some of the things that you do to make that happen in terms of marketing, advertising, promotion?
I'm up right now. I'm spending about $500 a month on advertising, and that's Amazon ads, that's Facebook ads, that's um, Robin Reed's, Read Freely, all of the sites that you can use when a book is free or is on sale. So I utilize all those and I layer ads. So anytime I get a book bub, and I've gotten a couple of them recently, I layer a bunch of other ads. I layer Facebook and Amazon and BookBub ads. I layer all of those on top of one another over those few days, and I'm spending. I just did the box set of my Dying Days zombie series. It's all 9 books, and it sells for $9.99, and I sell them like crazy. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna drop this to 99 cents for 5 days. If I can get a BookBub ad, and I got a BookBub ad off of it, or I got a BookBub deal, and so I layered about $400 on top of it, and it cost me $396. So I'm out $800, and I've made, I think at last count, this was a couple months ago, I think I've made about $8,400 in sales off of this book since then, and it was doing good. It was like on Amazon, it was maybe like 125,000 in the rank, and it dropped all the way down to like I think 210 total on Amazon, something ridiculous like that. So I sold a lot of books on this box set. Like immediately made that money back, I think in 2 days.
Wow.
And so for me, that was great. Now that doesn't always happen. A lot of times, like I just ran a 99-cent sale. I did a book called A Month of Dunkin', which is a nonfiction book. I went to Dunkin' Donuts every day in October of 2019. I had something different from the menu, whether it was a drink or something to eat. And I talked to people that were also in there. I did interviews with random people. And I wrote every day. Well, I'm in a different Dunkin' Donuts every day from Florida all the way up to Massachusetts and back. I had a couple of book signings in that month, and that book sells really well. And I said, let me drop this to 99 cents, and I'll do some ads. And it bombed. It did absolutely nothing. I spent about $200 on advertising over like 3 or 4 days, and I got no sales on it. So you just don't know. I mean, it's a crapshoot a lot of times. Depends on what the genre is. It depends on what people are looking for. And but my average is about $500 a month that I'm spending on various ads and stuff. And I'll add a new thing in here and there. And I talk to people. A buddy of mine, Daniel Volpe, just did Spotify ads for his book. So I'm waiting for some feedback on that to see if that's an angle that's worth pursuing.
I love that. I mean, podcasts are really one of the largest sources of reach these days, right? Like, I mean, you can do the Facebook ad thing, but I feel like that has gotten very saturated.
Yeah, it's very hard to crack, and the algorithms are ridiculous. So you could I could put an ad today on Amazon and sell 500 books, and then tomorrow that ad gets turned off by them for some, you know what I mean? So you really don't know. Whereas you're coming on a podcast, these episodes are evergreen. You're advertising on a podcast. You're having an interview on a podcast, and I mentioned 2 or 3 of my books already. Somebody 5 years from now could listen to this episode and go, oh, okay, and pull up Amazon while they're listening and buy a book. So you don't know what's out there. That's the fun. Like I have a book signing coming up Saturday at a bookstore that I've done several times. It's their 50th anniversary. The store's been there for 50 years in Jacksonville. And I might sell one book, I might sell 100 books. I have no idea. But a lot of times, just talking to people and handing out your business card and your bookmarks, down the line, they say, hey, I saw you last year at this event, and I just picked up this book, and now I'm reading a dozen of your books. So you just don't know. You're not selling individual books, you're selling yourself. You're selling yourself. I can come on here and just go, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. Nobody's going to listen. The goal is for somebody to go, who is this guy? What's all this crap behind him? Why is he wearing a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon shirt and this hat on backwards, this old man? And maybe they're gonna look on my Amazon, or they're gonna go to my website, or they're gonna follow me on Twitch, whatever. And that's gonna sell books long term. And that's what you really, I think a lot of authors, new authors, don't realize. You might not sell a book today, but you might have a potential reader that you've talked to today, that you've worked with. And that person, if you have 100 books, that person's going to blow through all of your books over the next, say, 2 years or 3 years. And that's what you're looking for. I see those guys at book signings that are dragging people to their table, and they're like bullying them into, you like dragons, and they're dragging you over, and they're yelling at you until somebody's like, here's $10, go away. And I'm like, that person is never going to read that book, and that person is never going to read anything from you. They're going to remember you as that obnoxious person who took $10 from them. Where I'm in front of my table just talking to people, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I got books, and then you have a normal conversation. What do you like to read? Whatever. And if I don't sell a book, still give them a bookmark, still give them a business card, and you send them on their way, and you hope that they don't throw your business card away, and you hope that at some point they go, hey, I remember that guy was writing crime thriller books, and they're set in Jacksonville Beach, and we're in Jacksonville, and let me check out the first one. And I get a lot of those emails. I love that. I love when they go, hey, I saw you 2 months ago, and then I was on Amazon and I saw your book and I bought it. And it's because I was just normal and not pushy with them.
Absolutely. You are your brand.
Yeah. And you're branded at all times online. That's why I always say to people, I mentor a few different authors, and I say to them, no religion, no politics, no arguing, no negative crap online. If you're going to do that, make a fake Twitter account and be an asshole somewhere else. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the bottom line, because you are now a celebrity. You are now a public persona, and you have to show them who you are at all times, and you don't have to create this fake persona. But for me, it's like over the years, I collect bourbon. I like Funko Pops. I collect comic books. I collect Red Sox baseball cards. You show everybody who you are, and you kind of exploit that of people who know the things that I like and the things that I do. And there's that bonding where on Twitch, it's always, everybody's always, did you use the hibachi last night? Because my wife bought me a hibachi a couple of months ago, and I absolutely love cooking on it. So I'm like, yeah, we're doing Philly cheesesteaks tonight on the hibachi, and that's what we'll talk about. And then they'll give me, hey, you should try this, or have you ever done this? And somebody gave me a really nice way to make French toast on it. So it's just fun, and it's engaging with people, and it's having normal conversations. I'm talking with people about making French toast or the best way to make fried rice on a hibachi, not hey, did you buy my book yet? What did you think? Can you leave a review for me?
Absolutely. That's amazing. What kind of hibachi did she get you?
We went to Sam's Club. So it's like the stand-up is like the $250 one. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We always go to the Japanese steakhouses and stuff, and I always like, I want to do this. Like I want to do the onion volcano. I want to do all that. So, and then so a couple months ago, she's like, you know what? Let's just get it and and we put it together and had to go through all this stuff. And we immediately made rice and shrimp and scallops and chicken and steak on it. And we use it probably twice a week now. We just did French toast the other day on it. So I enjoy it. The problem is now I can't make cheesesteak other than on the hibachi because it cooks out all of the water and everything. And it browns it real nice, where you really can't do that too much on the stove.
Interesting. Yeah, I've had my eye on this like hibachi thing that goes on top of your stove. So it turns your stove into hibachi.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents had one of those, and it works. Those work pretty good. Yeah. There's nothing like making your own fried rice on a hibachi. And we've done hash browns, and I've done scrambled eggs, and we've done a lot of different things on there over the last couple of months. So we keep finding more. I do a thing called coming up in the middle of next month called Mando Con, where I invite. We did it last year. This is the second year where I invite authors to come and stay at our house for like 3 or 4 days for a weekend, and all we do is write. Not all we do, but that's basically the focus. We're not going out anywhere. We're not doing anything. Everybody gets a spot in the house. 5 authors sleep here, and then we invite local authors to come in as well. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, from 9 to 5, we're writing. And in the meantime, my wife cooks, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for everybody. She loves it. She's very Southern, so she loves the big group of people. So we'll have like 10 people here for those days. But this year we're going to do, because I got the hibachi, so we're going to do, I'm going to do rice and vegetables and all that one night, show off my volcano making skills. And then for the Sunday morning, we're going to do the breakfast. So we're going to do French toast and all that. So it'll be a lot of fun, and we get a lot of writing in. We're doing, you're doing 15, 20,000 words in over the weekend, because you can't walk off and go take a nap without somebody yelling at you. You got to sit your butt down in that chair and let's work. 9 to 12, we're working. At 1 o'clock after lunch till 5 o'clock, we're working. And then we'll pull out the alcohol, and then my wife will make the big dinner, and we just hang out, and we record a couple of episodes of our podcast. We'll do it at the same time because my co-host will be here for the weekend. So we get a lot of work in, but we get a lot of stuff that, long-term for the career as well.
I love it. That's such a great concept. Another way to build community. Armand, I just realized we've had such an amazing conversation. I've lost track of time. Tell everyone where they can find you. So your website, your Twitch, your Amazon page, give them everything.
Everything is on ArmandRosamilia.com. You can find all my stuff there. Twitch, just look up Armand Rosamilia. I am very active on there, like I said, 3 days a week at least. Sometimes when I'm hit a deadline, I need to go on an extra day or two. And Twitter is Armand Author. That's probably where I'm mostly on every day. So those are the big ones. Find me, send me an email, make a comment, play around with me. It's fun meeting. It's fun meeting new people.
I love it. So for everyone listening, definitely head over to Armand's Twitter, Armand's Twitch. I think I might have to pop over there myself, because there's something just uncanny about someone writing on screen in front of others. It's such a personal process. So please follow Armand, buy his books. If you start reading them today, it sounds like you'll never catch up, because he's going to put them out quicker than you can read them.
I got 200 releases at this point.
That's incredible. So definitely support Armand and his work. We appreciate you tuning into the show. Any questions for me, or if you want to direct anything to Armand through me, Matt at Pen for Hire NYC. We greatly appreciate you tuning in as always. And Armand, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks. It was a lot of fun, man.
My pleasure.